as in fact is now definitively true, the solar system and the Earth are 4.5 billion years old, then there's plenty of time for evolution.
We do what humans have always done. We do the one thing boomers are afraid to do. We evolve, or we die. Okay. You're about halfway done with the material. I need you to lock in. I need you to load up. Baby, this is a great time to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Share this video. We're about halfway done with the material. We're about to talk about the Beyonce of cryptocurrency, BTC, that good old Bitcoin. And seriously, I get it. I get the smoke for cryptocurrency. If you're like me, the first time you heard about crypto probably was something like this.
Welcome to my crypto course, where I will teach you about crypto. The first step is to buy FIAT coin. Look at my analytics. Red is good. Red means you're making money. The strategy is to buy high and sell low. You see that, guys? Profit thanks to Elon Musk. We have made $2 million in 1 minute. I just lost $10 trillion in 2 seconds, but it's okay, guys. Don't worry. Our next step is to get our money back. It will be very simple. First step is to buy this NFT.
Those guys are mostly into what traders call meme coins. Those are the cute little dogs and cats and farts and other little icons you hear people chattering about. And that's not what this video is about. You may have also heard about people talking about altcoins. That would be things like Solana, Ethereum. If Bitcoin is Beyonce, then altcoins like Solana and Ethereum would be Michelle and Kelly. Baby, they are fabulous. You know, meme coins, altcoins, Michelle and Kelly have their place. They have their lane. We love them. We stand. But that is not what this video is about. That's another topic for another time. Right now, it's 2003. The girls looked Giselle dead ass in the face and said,
I didn't have one hit on my album.
And well, Hive, stand up, Hive. Y'all know what happened June 20th, 2003. But since y'all generally don't trust black people's judgment, here's a white guy that...
We have money problems. Like, sure, we've seen a 10% annualized return of the S&P 500 since the 1920s, but we've also printed an average of 10% more money each and every year during that exact same time frame. So this is what many people believe Bitcoin eventually solves. In fact, Bitcoin has become one of the asset classes to have outperformed the money supply by a wide margin, with even more upside expected. How? Well, after making its debut in 2009 after the Great Financial Crisis, Bitcoin slowly adopted mainstream and corporate popularity, rising more than 25,000% since 2015. To put it into perspective, just how significant that is, this return is 100 times higher than that of the S&P 500. Basically, the premise is that there's only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoins in existence, and that's it. Of which, there's roughly about 1.1 million Bitcoin left to be mined, which means 95% of its supply has already been accounted for. And as demand picks up, the price skyrockets. Although even though Bitcoin has gone up over 20 million% since its inception, it's also not uncommon for it to drop 50 to 90% before consolidating and moving back even higher. So what does this mean for the average person, and how could you use this information to make money? Well, in order to talk about how high or how low the price could go, we first need to talk about supply and demand. Look, here's the part that I found most surprising. As of right now, 62% of adults say that they own stocks, 65% say that they own a home, but just 14% say that they own Bitcoin. So who's the biggest buyer? Well, lately it's a mix of institutions and ETFs that are buying up as much as they possibly can. For example, MicroStrategy currently owns 3% of all circulating supply. Tesla added it to their reserve in 2021. BlackRock's ETF is one of the fastest growing funds of all time. Pension funds are beginning to buy in, and even the United States has has a stockpile worth tens of billions of dollars. On top of that, several other countries currently hold a significant amount of Bitcoin on their balance sheets. And with ongoing talks about a Bitcoin reserve, entire nations are now considering adding Bitcoin to their balance sheets as a way to boost their economy and even back their own currency. As proof of this, 263 entities currently have Bitcoin on their balance sheets as a replacement for holding onto the US dollar, and 9 countries actively hold it, including China, who quickly seems to be catching up to the United States. All of this is becoming so significant that 65% of investors say that they plan to buy or invest in digital assets in the future. Again, a huge increase from the 16% that currently owns it. Like, this has become so impossible to ignore that even half of all financial advisors plan to recommend cryptocurrency investments to their clients within the next 12 months. Essentially, as of today, retail investors are bringing in liquidity and excitement into the bull run, and institutional investors are providing a lot of capital to keep it relatively stable. But just compared to other asset classes over the last 10 years.
I was insanely skeptical when first introduced, but luckily I had a praying grandmother, and my mama loves to give wisdom at some of the most random times. Some of the best wisdom I've ever gotten. Dion said, baby, if you ever just want to know something, test the spirits. Despite my skepticism, I decided to try it out. Now, I'm just some guy on the internet spouting some facts, some figures that he found on the internet. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor, girl. Baby, do not sue me. Baby, do not come knocking on my door. Do not send me no email. I just happen to be a very fine and a very intelligent man who has spent the last several months researching a topic, okay? Yes, I'm legally obligated to say that. Yo, we stay in the third house Taurus stellium. Baby, that Sun, Mercury, Jupiter conjunction be doing work, girl. Your boy done jumped in head first and has literally been obsessed. I've done nothing but watch crypto videos, read articles on Investopedia, and really get my wig adjusted. I wanted to make sure that I was out here actually, spreading, information that's helpful. Graham Stevens is right. Bitcoin continues to outperform traditional finance strongholds. This visual shows how Bitcoin went from near zero to surpass established digital and industrial asset classes within a decade, zooming past PayPal at about $200 billion in 2017, Tesla at about $800 billion in 2021, only humbled by gold, which sits at a market cap of about 11 trillion. Quite literally, as I was finishing this script and started narrating this video, Bitcoin shot off to the moon and started traveling. Today, Bitcoin sits below Apple and above Amazon by market cap comparison. Baby, where there's smoke, there's fire. And
when people show you who they are, believe them.
Yes, absolutely. A person says to you, I'm selfish, or I'm mean, or I am unkind.
Or I'm crazy.
Or believe them. They know themselves much better than you do.
Mm-hmm.
And if history has shown us time after time, after time, America been said,
the motherfucking money in my motherfucking hands. I'm in Gucci in a bonnet spinning motherfucking bands.
Proud skeptic. And I studied it, learned about it, and I came away saying, okay, my opinion 5 years ago was wrong. Here's my opinion today. This is what I believe in today. I believe the opportunity today. I believe Bitcoin is legitimate. I'm not trying to say there's not misuses like everything else, but it is a legitimate financial instrument that allows you to have maybe uncorrelated, non-correlated type of returns. I believe it is an instrument that you invest in when you're more frightened, though. It is an instrument when you believe that countries are debasing their currency, by excess deficits, and some countries are. I believe we have countries where you're frightened of your everyday existence, and if you have an opportunity to invest in something that is outside your country's control, then you can have more financial control.
That's Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock. Yes, girl. That BlackRock. And his Fortune 100 company has been buying Bitcoin hand over fist. BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust, that's iBit on the stock ticketer, you see it every day, debuted January 11th, 2024, and rapidly built a position of about 700,000 BTC. That's worth over $80 billion. And he's not alone.
Hodler, you would buy if you have money, you buy Bitcoin, I think, don't you? It doesn't matter whether it's up, down, or flat.
150% Bitcoin, Joe.
Do you think at this point that there's, let me just say, what are you waiting for at this point in terms of good news? I think the regulatory environment since the election is definitely improved. We've talked about how much harder it gets to mine, and there's halving. When is the next halving, and what are the next moves that it would cause the asset Bitcoin to get to some of these? I don't know whether you have Tom Lee type projections. I think Tom the other day said eventually it could get to 2.5 million per coin or higher before we never really will get to mining the last coin, will we? Not in our lifetime.
Not in our lifetime, but the last 6 months have been tremendous. All of the fundamental planets have aligned. Bitcoin's been acknowledged as the one digital commodity in the world by the administration. The banking regulators have given a green light to bank Bitcoin. The accountants have upgraded the accounting to fair value accounting. There's been a surge of Bitcoin treasury companies. There's like 100 public companies or more that are holding Bitcoin on their balance sheet, and every single week there's another announcement.
That guy back there, Michael Saylor, and his company MicroStrategy kicked off its Bitcoin strategy on August 11, 2020, buying 21,454 Bitcoin for about $250 million. Since then, it's continued accumulating and now holds 597,325 BTC, roughly $7 million at today's prices. Together, these two whales control over 6% of all Bitcoin in circulation, signaling there is blood in the water.
Now here's what we're gonna do.
Ron, come quick. They've gone wild. The girls have gone wild.
It was full tilt jungle madness. And it wasn't going away.
Old money institutions are shoveling in billions of dollars into the Bitcoin machine. One by one sharks, and by mean sharks, I mean companies like Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Fidelity, Robinhood, JP Morgan Chase, are catching the scent. They're sensing the blood in the water and changing their tune about Bitcoin. Take a look at the receipts. These sand keys visually trace how traditional dollars are being redirected into Bitcoin. With much thicker bands in 2025, they illustrate the surge in traditional institutional capital moving into BTC. Companies like Goldman, Fidelity, MasterCard, and JP Morgan Chase are swarming the pool, pushing and shoving to get their real-world assets, cash, stocks, bonds, etc., tokenized and on-chain. Today, there are about $20 billion from equities, $15 billion from bonds, $13 billion from cash, totaling $48 billion that has poured into BTC as of this very moment. Simply put,
the white folks got green money.
For the first time in a long time. That's regular people like you and me, the trash man, your DJ, the random they-he that works at your favorite dive bar, clocked, caught on, and invested in a new asset class before traditional finance. Quite literally found ourselves in a digital gold rush. Yes, you heard that right. A gold rush. Just like the California gold rush between 1848 and 1855, where the news of gold immediately brought approximately 300,000 people to California, who flushed the treasury with a huge influx of gold and reinvigorated the American economy. Now, I don't have a crystal ball, but if it smells like fire, looks like a fire, gives off heat like a fire, glows like a fire, at a minimum we've got combustion, and that's enough for me to be curious. I definitely think we're starting to see something huge here, millennials. I mean, clearly God has ordained us to be the generation to witness all the contemporary ills, boons, and baggage of America, always leading the charge of
being in a dangerous and unprecedented moment in American history.
But as I said in my last video, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And so I'm left wondering if millennials, could this be our big what if moment? That one moment that we all get in our lifetime to actually make a change, to try something different, to travel down a trajectory. Baby, is this our butterfly moment? Consider this. I can't get it out of my mind. It's kind of been rummaging up here, but like all of the stuff that we've ever loved, revered, been obsessed with millennials were somebody who dared to do something different and to embrace the consequences of thinking out of the box. Rap, the internet, social media, Tamagotchis, OG streaming, ride sharing, prep. So if Bitcoin is the hero of this story, who's the villain?
One big beautiful bill is among the most important pieces of legislation in our country's history. I don't think there's ever been anything bigger. And I said, let's make it one big beautiful bill. We're voting essentially on the big beautiful, that gorgeous big beautiful bill.
Stop it. Stop it right now. First, the one big beautiful bill sounds either like a lumberjack with an OnlyFans page or a Pornhub tab for people who come to toucans. But it is truly massive, and it's currently moving through Congress after passing the House by the narrowest of margins.